The game plays right here.
Are you ready for some football?
Your sports leader, WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, and WCSL Cherryville Gastonia.
Chosen breed, you don't see too many like me. Cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do when you wanna be me instead of you. Cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
Yeah,
Yeah, it did.
it sure did.
Shh. Well, never mind. Sorry. Shit. I think it's this.
Mike. There we go. That's us, isn't it?
Yeah, it's it. And we're going to go with that, folks. Obviously, we've coming in late, had a little technical difficulties, but we'll get this fixed. Good afternoon, everybody. Had to update a computer, and Hunter, instead of taking 10 minutes, it only took 40 minutes to do that. So,
Oh yeah, it's tough when technology just decides that it wants to do a forced update. That's the worst, Obviously,
yeah.
for people that really don't know, but I know that you guys know
Especially
here. I'm in school for IT, and so we've talked all the time about sometimes if you wait too long to do updates, it's going to do a forced update, and there should be a way to turn that off, but this is, ladies and gentlemen, why you update when you can.
Well, the thing is, for us broadcasters, we're on time schedules. It's not like if this is at a football game, they're not going to hold the football game up 40 minutes.
Shit.
We're updating our windows.
Tell Johnny to stop. All right, we're not quite set up yet.
We've got to update our windows. But anyway, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. Kevin Hastings, Hunter Yancey. We've got a fun day scheduled ahead. No Cinefani today. We had him all weekend. And we'll have Rob Roop in on Wednesday instead of Zach Mayu this week. So our regulars, Rob and Zach, will be out this week. But that's okay. Not Rob. Regulars, not Rob. Rob is coming in this week. Zach will not. Our regular will not be here on
We'll get
Wednesday.
situated here in a minute.
We'll
It
get
feels
all
like
our
we're
stuff.
just a little flustered right
Yeah,
now.
because we still gotta like and share. So
Like
folks,
and share.
folks, if you're watching at home, please like and share because that's the only way to beat the algorithms is have you folks like and share to be able to get us out there as they try to squeeze the small businesses in this country on the social medias and squeeze us out. But we're doing our best. Like and
Squeeze
share
us
to
like
your
a
friends,
lemon.
cousins, anybody else. We're here to talk sports and give you guys something fun to listen to and watch and do our best here. We've got high school tournament golf to talk about this weekend. We've got NBA bubble to talk about this weekend. We've got the big breakout, big story of the day is the Florida Marlins outbreak in their clubhouse and what that means for Major League Baseball, maybe college football, and more. So we're going to get into that. First of all, I want to thank everybody for this weekend. Playing golf over at the Shelby Golf Tournament on Friday and the Burns Bulldogs Golf Tournament on Saturday. I want to thank Hunter and Tom and Jason for doing a good job on the broadcast. We had Anna help out Saturday, and Caleb Johnson helped out on Friday with filming from some of the other holes. I just want to thank those. As the team-wise, we played better on Saturday than we did Friday. Told you I thought we would. One, just based on the knowing the course. Two, we played better because we knew the rules.
We knew the rules. Yeah.
We didn't know the rules on Friday. There was everybody was doing all kinds of things, and we're out here just playing golf. So we messed up. We missed on that. And then also my buddy Travis played with us. He's a pretty good golfer. But Travis decided Saturday morning before Golf Hunter, the best thing for him was to carry 100 bags of mulch for his sister-in-law into their yard.
Smart.
So his shoulders were tired and
Very
back
smart.
before the golf tournament.
Very smart.
So Travis didn't play.
Hey, think smarter, not harder.
Hey, Travis didn't play the best he could. He hit some great shots. Travis, I love playing with him. One of my buddies. He honestly, I told him to his face yesterday, you're one of the best, if not the best putter that I play with. Like the hardest Hunter, anybody can line up for the most part. And a lot of people, well, I'll say it this way. Some people can't line up and they can hit it straight. Some people can line up and they can't hit it straight. I'm really good at lining up, and if you don't follow through, you miss the putt. And my worst thing about putting those is getting the speed down, and then I'm really good at reading the line. It's just following through and keeping the ball on the line. Travis, he puts it wherever you aim at. I mean, every time, just boom. And so he helped out with that quite a bit. Rick, on Saturday, pretty much eagled the first couple of holes by himself. He had a lot of great shots. Saturday, I was probably the most consistent as far as like I didn't really hit any bad shots, but I didn't, it was I was on the average of say I stayed between, if you were grading on 100, between 75 to 90.
Yeah.
I didn't. Friday I threw a couple pin seekers out for some close to the pins. I did hit some drives well on Friday. We didn't hardly hit the driver at all Friday at Cleveland Country Club. It's a shorter course. I would say, Hunter, it's made for I'm not older folks, but when I say that, I just mean like folks that don't hit it at just non-bombers. If you're a bomber,
right,
there's no really point maybe playing that course. It's not that long, but the fairways and greens were fantastic. And Woodbridge, I know you don't know, but it closed for a few years.
Yes, I heard them talk about that.
Michael Jordan even had an offer on that way back in the day, about 15, 20 years ago. He was thinking about actually buying that course himself. So it could have been at the Jordan Links yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm sure the clubhouse would have been built up a little bit nicer if Jordan had owned it. But yeah, he had thought about that at some point. And but anyway, they closed it down. They opened it back up. I'm so glad they opened it back up. It's a fun course to play. I like courses where they make you think a little bit, give you challenges, but like there's plenty of holes to let it rip. You can hit it as far as you want on a bunch of holes. Then there's holes you got to strategize. I wish I could have took you guys that the hole 14 is pretty much the signature hole in the course. I would say, and it'd be I should have didn't think about it. If we had time, we could have went down there and toured the course for a minute and let you see it. And in fact, I was thinking, if I heard Tom say he wish he could play again. If you and Tom want to play one day, I'll be more than happy to take you guys out there and take care of it. But the 14th hole, Hunter, is when I say giant dog leg, I mean it's about 600 yards almost. So your first drive, when we're playing it regular, so yesterday you had red tees and stuff, so we didn't hit from the regular spot. So the first drive is about a 40 to 50 foot cliff that you hit off of, and so the blue tees are up there, the white tees are at the bottom of the cliff. But there's tree, you got to hit it 280 yards straight ahead. And so the thing about it is, if you tee off from the whites, the trees are in play. If you tee off from the blues on top of the hill, you hit them over the trees. So we always just go to the back anyway and let it rip over the tree so we don't hit a tree. So that's one of the fun parts of that course. You hit it really far out there. And once you get out there, you're still 300 yards away from the green, even if you hit a bomb of a shot. And there's a pond between you and the green. So you have to lay up in front of the water and then go again. So that's the signature hole. It's the one, if you saw the logos, the wood bridge on it, that's where the bridges are back there on that hole and the one behind it.
I got you.
The tee markers, those are the first time I've noticed those tee markers. Whoever bought those tee markers, those things were sweet. I know you was nowhere near one.
Right.
But that little wood bridge logo, and they were cut out of the tees. So whoever did that, fantastic job. They got that ordered from someone. I'm going to pull up our WHS Facebook page here, Hunter, during the show while we talk and just kind of play some of the video and let it go through while we go through our stuff here today. But, yeah, we had a great time. I want to thank everybody again coming out and watching. And it's going to be, I would say, I'm not a fan of playing where you throw. So I don't know if I don't know if I want to play it anymore than a throw. I might just let someone else play and I broadcast you guys. But it's not golf. You know what I mean? So for example, people want to know what I mean by throw. Well, you can buy mulligans and red tees and then throw. And so, but the throw isn't like, it doesn't count as a shot. It's a continuation of the shot. So if you hit a par 4 and you're like 50 yards short, you can throw it from the end of your drive onto the green and you drove the green.
Right.
So, or on a par 3, say you hit the green and you're 6 foot from the hole and you can reach the hole, you could just drop it in for a hole in one.
I would almost do that every time.
Well,
that's what's so crazy.
You got to hit it
like,
6 feet away, though.
That's what I'm saying is like, if I had a great drive, because that's the one thing I can do. I can't putt worth of shit, and my iron game is awful. It's hit or miss. I won't say it's awful. It's hit or miss.
Yeah.
But if I get the drive going, like I can get close to 310, 315 on a solid drive. Oh yeah, I'm pretty strong with the driver. If I can get close to that, I'll just pick the golf ball from where it is, and I'll just rear back and baseball throw it as far forward as I can. Say, yeah, all right.
Instead of chipping your
instead of trying to use my irons, just because I know how off they can be.
Right. So yeah, that was kind of the point. The throw's kind of weird for me because it's not an actual golf shot. Like a mulligan is a golf shot.
Yeah.
Like you're actually hitting the ball with your club. Throwing, if it was count as a shot, like that's how we played it on Friday. So we only got 4 of them. So we used them as real shots
until you told me that it was a continuation. When I heard that there was a throw, to me it was just you can either elect to hit it or throw it.
Right. I
thought that's what it was. I thought that was gonna still be a shot.
That's what we thought at first.
I guess that's just not the case.
So think about it. If it should be there. Okay. Yeah. If we used 4 throws as actual shots, and everyone else in the tournament used 8 throws as continuations, how many shots do you think we lost?
You probably lost
compared to everybody else.
Like,
I was gonna say 10, or at least 8.
At least 2 or 3 per hole. So you probably lost between 6 to 8 shots, maybe 10 on the high side.
No, and so basically on Friday they gave you 24 shots when you add it all together. We only used 2. We lost by exactly 22 shots. So
you should have used those other shots.
If we would have got to use them the right way, it would have been in contention. At least, not saying they would have worked or whatever, but they would have at least been
right.
We wouldn't have had Tom ridiculing us after the tournament about our score and that he should have been allowed on the team.
Tom, come on, Tom.
But yeah, that was kind of a little weird. All right, Hunter, let's all right, for you folks who want to watch, I've been cutting the highlights also as well. We're going to show some during the show from the tournament. If you folks want to rewatch the Burns or the Shelby Golf tournaments, they're on the WHS Facebook page. I've been cutting some highlights today. I'm through with the Burns. I haven't posted them all yet. I've posted some of them, and then we'll have the Shelby up probably maybe tomorrow afternoon if I get through everything in the morning. Hunter, let's start. Go ahead and pull up the Marlins information. I'm going to go down the hall and do some sound checks on everything. And basically, the Marlins have canceled a game tonight because of coronavirus as went through the clubhouse.
Yeah, 2 games tonight, actually. 2 games tonight have been postponed because of an outbreak of coronavirus amongst the Miami Marlins. I always want to say the Florida Marlins. They've been the Florida Marlins for over 50% of my life, actually probably 75% of my life. But the Miami Marlins, they played their home opener against the Philadelphia Phillies. Or I'm sorry, they played their opening series against the Philadelphia Phillies, but their home opener was supposed to be tonight against the Baltimore Orioles. So they were supposed to go home and have the home opener against the Orioles. Well, it's not going to happen now. That's been postponed. And the Phillies game, because they were the team that played Miami in the first series, their game as well against the New York Yankees has been postponed because they were obviously around the Miami Marlins during their series. So that's just one of the things I guess baseball is going to have to deal with going forward. They've agreed to, the players that have said they're not opting out know what the risks were, and they've signed up. The teams and the owners as a whole knew what the risks were bringing baseball back at this point, and they decided to go forward with it as well. So 2 games tonight, the Baltimore Orioles and the Marlins have been postponed, along with the Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Yankees. Now, let's transition then to the bigger picture. Big picture. Coronavirus has crept its way into Major League Baseball, which it has done before during teams getting ready for the startup again. But now it's hit, and we're only 3 to 4 games into the season where a team has actually been affected, and it has affected current players that were in the clubhouse. Now the rumor, not really the rumor, but the speculation is how does the MLB respond to this? Do they just nix it as quickly as we tried to get it started? Is it presumably going to be we got 4 games in and then all of a sudden we can't? The risk is too high. I don't know. I think that's what a lot of us don't know is how the MLB will respond to it. Mostly because I know in weeks prior to this, Kevin has alluded to it as well, there's never been a line that says if this amount of players get it, we're going to nix it. Also, I don't think they would nix it because then what I said this before the show started when me and Kevin were just talking about it. What was the point of them even having the 60-man taxi roster?
Right.
That's how they set this up. Is if players and a multitude of players on your roster caught the virus, got sick, and had to sit out, then you can just pull from that taxi roster.
Yeah, right. That's the point.
That was the point. Essentially, this was, we're just going to trial by fire. We're just throwing them to the flames, and if you get it, you get it. And players, I think players that kind of realize that too, because they did give them every opportunity leading up to this season, leading up to the restart, to say, hey, you can opt out. They're not forcing your hand to the burner saying if you don't play.
Right.
So, I don't know. I guess them postponing this is fine because they're probably going to make it up maybe a day, maybe in 2 or 3 days. That would be my understanding. Because what I think they'll do.
I guess you're kind of worried about, how many days are actually built into the calendar for this stuff. If you are going to postpone.
It's different than how the NFL said they would just move that week to the end of the week. This is different.
And it's already at the end of the season. They don't have, you can't just go into December and stuff with
this.
Oh, no.
It's tough.
Again, what you said.
Well, how many days are there in between series, though?
None, really.
Yeah, because they are just traveling back and forth.
Usually, the way it works in baseball is they have one day off a week for the most part, and then kind of travel. Or so I think the Braves for years their travel day was either Wednesday or Thursday, and I just remember them always talking about that on the radio. So I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to give out an exact thing on that, but yeah, Hunter, I like you said, there was no line, there was no rule. What happens when these guys get it, and then as soon as somebody gets it, they cancel the whole game. or postpone or whatever. And to the point of that, like you were saying, is, man, are they going to do that for everyone? If
Yeah.
they do, now we're rescheduling games. But what's the point of the taxi roster? So they're saying now they have to test everybody and wait. So who knows what's gonna go with that? And then you read the article and it has like 40 questions on there, and pretty much all it is speculation, like we're doing, is just whatever.
Yeah, it's just
we don't know.
speculation.
We don't know.
Commissioner Rob Manfred's supposed to have a scheduled conference call today with the owners, and well, now that conference call's got a little bit of a blip to it. I mean, it was probably just going to be, hey, it was been a great opening week. I'm glad that we were able to get baseball back, and now it's, oh shit. Well, I mean, we knew this was going to happen.
But again, and then again, they never said as soon as somebody gets it, we're just going to start canceling games.
They didn't,
and that's what's, as fans and folks watching this
but now they did use the word postpone, though.
Right.
They didn't say they were going to cancel the game.
Right,
so if they can figure out a way to get that game in at some point, I think that's fine. They should be able to do it. Just, I don't know if they're going to be able to. Because of how tight this season is. You got 60 games, and you're trying to pack them in almost, 3 months? Mm-hmm. Which is not, it's not that it's not doable, but, well.
August, September, about 2.5.
Well, okay, so yeah, even then, that's a little bit of a stretch, or it's getting a little bit too cramped. I don't know. Sunday, 4 Marlins players tested positive for the coronavirus, and including that day's starting pitcher. Was Jose Urena. The Marlins were already going to be without the services of Urena and Jorge Alfaro, the catcher. Oh man. I mean, they're saying that that the total right now, the cases in the recent days, is at least 13 in the clubhouse.
Okay.
At least 13. So you're looking at, if they are true positives and they don't come back being, false positives, you got 13 players coming up from your 60-man taxi team, and you're going to be without those 13 players for a solid 2 weeks. Hopefully, if that's just like, it doesn't get any worse. What
are we going to do when they just say the Marlins are done for the year? Think about that.
The Marlins were winning games.
Everybody's won a game so far in
I
the
know,
first 3.
But I'm just saying, like, they had some hope, and it's just gone.
But what's bad?
Gone.
Yeah, and what's bad about it is, Hunter, we've got the NBA coming up.
Yep, Thursday.
What if the NBA is going to start canceling? If you're going to cancel the Marlins, what's going to happen? What are we going to do when LeBron or one of these other guys? Are we going to cancel the Lakers? Or are we going to? How is it going to affect the NBA Finals? We could have your Wizards against somebody else in the finals based on just
everybody else
on
has
Corona.
dropped
And the
out.
Wizards and Nets don't have anybody else left, and everybody comes back down to them. Because if everybody else starts getting sick, the Wizards and Nets, me
and you both
they're going
know.
to catch up with them.
Me and you both know, because we've pointed out a lot. There is no line. There is no. What is it going to take for us to push the big red button and say, all right, this shit ends now? Basketball is set up to where they could just as quickly hit that big red button than how baseball's set up. Yeah. That's why I'm sitting here saying, well, what was the point in having these extra 60-man rosters for each team that you could pull from? It's like, what's the point if you're just going to end it right now?
Yep.
It's like you had this set up for just in case this reared its ugly head. It just so happened to do that after 3 or 4 games. So if they really wanted to hit the big red button, technically this would be the best time. Mm-hmm. If you want to blow up the MLB coming back, you can do it after 3 or 4 games and be like, look, sorry guys, but what happened in Florida, we just can't allow. We just can't have it anywhere else. And that works because technically you never really got started. Like, you were only 4 games in.
What's going to be sad about a lot of this, Hunter, is, there's a lot of speculation in the world about whether or not, the tests are right. Florida reported 90,000. Then the White House says we're going to take care of it, and it dropped to 11,000. So, besides the reporting, the testing. Well, I saw a report from a doctor who wrote back in March on March 27th. Wrote in I can't remember which medical journal, but he said the test for coronavirus, which means all coronaviruses, which the common cold is a coronavirus. So what he's saying is that they're not testing for COVID-19. There is no specific test to separate that. And that is just showing positive for corona. And then the Australian government, I went through that the other day. This morning, they actually posted you've been speculating about the flu numbers. Mm-hmm. Well, the flu deaths and the COVID deaths add up to pretty much the exact same number as last year's flu numbers in Australia. So they actually published their numbers, and what you're saying or what you were speculating earlier might be that they might be reporting flus, and that's exactly what's going on in Australia. So there's so many questions of do these 14 guys all have it? Now, Hunter, let me ask you one other thing. If 14 guys have it and they all, Jimmy Johnson was better in 2 days, and they're all better in a couple of days, how serious is the virus?
But Kevin, we've been saying this for months now.
How serious is it with 14 guys, and then a few days later they're all okay? And then the same thing with Jimmy. And it's 2 days later,
telling
he's
you,
okay.
I had this conversation with a buddy of mine 2 nights ago, and I told him, I said, look, man, if people ask me all the time, well, are you not scared of it? And I'll be like, if you read, the good numbers that major media companies don't put out there, then no, you wouldn't be scared of it.
The 0.00
I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to
chance of
sit. I'm
dying
not
if
going
you
to.
even
Yes,
get it.
I'm not going to sit here and say it's not something that we should be paying attention to.
Right.
I'll never say that. I'll never be one of those people that come out and say the virus ain't real. It is real, but like you said, if you, how serious is it that if somebody
Old question from Jason Sang.
that some people can get that can feel better after maybe a few days?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Then it's not. Then it's just
but see, you ask those questions and people think you're insensitive.
Right.
They think you're insensitive and they think you just don't care about protection of other people. And I said, no, it's just I want the one thing that we still don't have, and I know that we're not obviously health experts, and I know that we're not a political sports show or a political show. We're a sports show, but it's not even me trying to get political with it. It's just with all of this, we don't even seem there's nothing in concrete. There's nothing that is on paper that says this is what it is 100%. The numbers change and what they tell us about it changes every day.
Right.
It's so fluid.
You need to wear a mask, you don't need to wear a mask. A mask protects you, it protects others. Well, if I don't have the coronavirus, then how can I give it to you? That's the whole a lot of arguments and again, Hunter,
that's just what makes it tough.
We're sitting here in an election year, and a lot of this stuff, it gets turned political either way you look at it, and that's what's bad about it is that we've done things to this country and changed things in the last few months, and as far as in the last 20 years, our freedoms ever since the Patriot Act and 9/11, things have changed, and I know this has been your life, and. Yes, I was a freshman in college when the towers hit. I was supposed to head to an actual refereeing class. I think I had English and a referee class that morning, and I didn't get to go to either one of them because I was actually getting dressed and about to walk out the room. I think I just went and brushed my teeth and came back to the room, and my roommate said something like, "Holy crap! Did you see what's on TV?" He looked at it, and I looked, and then we watched the second tower get hit, and from that point on, we were lied to about weapons of mass destruction. And what's crazy, Hunter, is we can go through our country's history and people will say, this was a lie, this was a lie, this is a lie. When we know what the government lied about, we know things that they've lied about, we know secret programs. But then when you come out today and say, well, I don't believe the government, to the wrong person, they're going to say, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. Well, at what point have they given them or anyone else, the public media and the government, all of it, give you any reason to believe 100%, whether they're lying to you on purpose or not. Who's ever giving you
the problem that I have
everything.
with this? The problem I have with this, and I've been so adamant about why I have such a problem with the coronavirus. One, it's really how the media portrays it. Absolutely, that doesn't help. It's fear mongering amongst all of the major media corporations. That's exactly what it is, and they know it is. They just won't admit it. Because it's the same thing they taught me at broadcasting school that I can't remember. It's either Channel 3 or Channel 9. They got a saying, and it says, if it bleeds, it leads, because it catches people's eyes. They'd much rather put something out there to catch somebody's eye and scare somebody than just putting out the good numbers. But that's also what brings me to that N word I just said. It's the numbers. I feel like every week somebody's coming out and saying, but the numbers aren't correct. And I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, well, what the hell? Why don't we just ever have in concrete, and why don't we ever have correct numbers?
I told you.
That's why I said I'm saying
deaths.
I don't know. I don't even know what to believe. I don't. And then, like you said, coronavirus. Yes, that is actually a classification of multiple strains of viruses.
Right.
So if what you said is correct, and in fact the test that they are running is just testing for even just a random novel coronavirus.
Right. That's what
then
this
it's
doctor
not-
wrote
then
in
it's
the
not
Journal of
just-
Medicine, March 27th.
And I know that was in March, unless the tests have changed somehow since then. If that's the case, then the numbers are automatically inflated. And it's not quite just the COVID-19. What people have to remember, too, is, and I know that we're here at a sports show, but guys, this is important. This is just an everyday life right now.
The Marlins aren't playing.
The
because
Marlins
of
aren't
this right
playing
now.
because of it, and it's essentially this is what's holding the MLB in balance right now. This is what's holding them in check right now. Is this happening 4 games in? This is going to determine whether or not the Major League Baseball continues, and we'll see if basketball watches it. And the NFL is keeping an eye on this too, because they just had one of their top medical experts in the NFL. I want to say he was a trainer for the Minnesota Vikings, just tested positive for the coronavirus. So this is serious now. This is dead serious. But it's just one of those things where people forget when they first came out and said that the coronavirus has hit America, and they started to do their tests on it. They said there were 2 strains of the coronavirus. There was the one that was probably going to give you flu-like symptoms.
Right.
And then there was the second strain, which was COVID-19. That was the really dangerous and
Right.
potentially life-threatening one. And so if we have the test, and it can't differentiate between which one is maybe going to give you kind of just flu-like symptoms, and, I mean, the flu is nothing to sneeze, no pun intended, but it's nothing to sneeze about,
Right.
okay?
Well, people
It's
die
still
from it
bad.
every year.
Yeah, people die all the time, and we get more cases of the flu every year. It's just, the numbers game is what throws me off, because here we are, and now I get to tie it back into sports. The Miami Marlins saying 13 players have tested positive. Well, what happens when they get tested in a day or two, and 6 of them come back negative?
Right.
And then would they test them again in another 2 days? And maybe an extra 4 come back negative. So there you have 10 out of the 13 that had false positives who had to sit out and probably still have to self-quarantine just to be safe. Because I think even then, if it comes back as a false negative, just to be sure, I'm pretty sure you still have to do like at least a 10-day quarantine. Because it's 2 weeks that most places are implementing.
Yeah.
So you're losing 13 players at this point. And this is all hypothetical if they do even come back as false positives. But that's what we're running with right now, is the numbers game, and with how inaccurate the tests really are.
Right. Jimmy didn't have any symptoms of anything.
Jimmy didn't have any symptoms,
he has to come out.
and he didn't get to race that weekend. And 2 days later, it came back as a negative. And what did they say about the first test he took? Then they said must have been a false positive. I mean, it's just
Folks watching online real quick, I just did a rewind a little bit. Showing some replays from the Burns Golf Tournament. Watch, I don't know who this is. This is Trent Marty and Alex Linhart's group. But I don't know who's about to make this putt. But watch him ride the donkey hunter. Hey, ride that thing around the green.
yeah, that was from this weekend.
Yeah, it's Trent Marty and Alex Linhart's team. I've got the name of the other guys, but I think I've got them down the hall, and I can't remember. I'll pull them up on the Facebook here in a minute. So, folks, if you're wondering what's going on with the golf, I'm showing some replays from this weekend. I'll show you some Shelby here in a little bit, but I'm going to go through the WHS page during the show and show some of this. So, Hunter,
That's just where we're at right now, though.
So
with the sports thing, you can't talk about sports
Right.
now without it getting brought up.
Right.
And that's just, and it's trickling down because here's what. So Colin made a good point today while I was listening to Colin coming in.
Where's the pen? It was just
He
right
said, what happened in the MLB, obviously, and what the NBA is doing, what happened in the MLB is going to be tough to confine because they're not doing the quote-unquote bubble.
Right.
They are traveling
The
to
baseball
so many
players
cities.
rejected the idea of playing in
And
Arizona.
yes, they rejected the idea of playing in the bubble. There have been there were NHL is coming back, and they did their own version of like a bubble just for like players when they were trying to come back. And so far, there have been no positive cases out of the 840 something players that they've tested, and they tested them multiple times because the number is a whole lot higher, the number of tests that they sent. Basketball so far has not had that issue either that we know of. There have been some that tested positive before they got to the bubble, but so far within the bubble, there have been no cases. And same with soccer. They're in the bubble. There have been no cases down in Orlando. But this is where the problem now comes, now that it has hit Major League Baseball. So the NFL has to travel 8 times. They play 16 games, 8 home, 8 away. That can kind of be mitigated because what do they do when they're done with their game? They can either go to their hotel room or they're going to go home to their family. Now, Colin made a good point when he said this. What's going to happen with college football? What are these college students going to do when they're done playing their football game? Are they going to go home and sit in their sit in their house? They're going to go and sit in their dorm, especially if there's other kids on campus. Look at how we are still today. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I still want to go out. I still want to go to breweries.
So the high schools, Hunter, I was talking to Trent and Tom yesterday. I think it was after you. Yeah, it was after you left, and they were talking about how the rules in high schools are if you choose to do virtual only, you can't play sports. And to me, that don't make sense because of this.
You can go sit with your peers,
right,
but you can't play sports.
So think about it. If I have to go to class and play sports, that's double the exposure.
Yeah.
I told them, I said, to me, you should require the athletes to not come to school, and then allow the kids who don't play sports to use the school. And also, they're and another thing they're talking about is people wanting to school at home. Some people want their tax money back to be able to voucher and go to whatever school they want. And so there's all kinds of arguments about the school and stuff. So I think the colleges, the NFL, Hunter, I wouldn't count on them playing anything. I really don't think
the college level. I consider the NFL still trying to play.
No, I think the NFL is going to because they're professional paid athletes.
Yes.
Because you're going to have, if you run out kids that aren't professional paid athletes for the reason, and we know the reason they're sending them out there, it's to make money. The high schools have been clear with us and everyone else. Football is how we make money. The colleges have been clear with everyone else. This is how
football
we make money.
This is how we pay for your other sports.
But then again, these are also student athletes. Now the college kids are over 18, so I think they're doing waivers with them, trying to get them waivers. I'm not sure you're going to be able to do that, or no, legally I might be right or wrong. With high school students,
you'd have to have a parent or guardian sign that.
Not only are you using unpaid labor to make your hot dog money,
underage,
you're using
technically minors,
underage unpaid labor to make your hot dog money. So there's a lot of issues with that, and I almost don't even want to discuss it. But I did hear people, we heard Friday that they were talking about playing in the spring, which I would rather them play a whole year in the spring than 5 or 6 games in the fall.
I was gonna say I saw a friend last night who she knows through the church, a kid who is in high school and was getting ready to play high school football this year, and he told her. Now I don't know if he's gonna follow through with it. He said, "At this point, what's the point?" He said, "We're only gonna be able to play maybe 6 or 8 games this year compared to a full 12 game season.
If your team's not good, would you play?"
And he said it's just all conference games. It's not even any out of conference.
Well, for teams like Shelby, Crest, Kings Mountain, Charlotte Catholic, who's competing for state championships, they want to play.
Yes.
But if you're Cherryville or Bessemer or one of these other schools that's not going to be able to compete for a state championship, do you play football?
And I don't know
if you're an individual person. Like think about it, Hunter. If you were on a soccer team,
right?
And let's put yourself in this situation. Let's not say it's senior year because I don't want you to be weighed by that. Let's say junior year.
Okay.
And you could play next year, and they said, you could either basically you can. Where are we going with this? That you could play, and or choose not to play.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is that if your team, let's say your team's horrible, you're going to win. How many games do you play in soccer? 20. I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
We play. I'm trying to think. We would play at least 4 non-conference games to start, and then we play every team twice.
So roughly 15. Let's say 15. So just for regular season.
Maybe.
So if you're on let's say you're on a bad team and you're a good player either way, and you're going to be 3-12 probably.
Mm-hmm.
Would you still want to play that season and risk it? Would your parents want you to play that season and risk it? Would you go out there? And in football, you're out there risking your bodily harm for not winning games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have in this situation, I probably wouldn't play football. I would be like, I'm gonna play basketball and baseball. But there's no point in me going out here and going 0-10 and getting my brains beat in for no reason other than and if there's no fans. Because when you're playing football for an 0-10 team, Hunter, you know what you're playing for, don't you? Mama, Daddy, and the girls.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's it. But hey, even
I'm
then,
putting that uniform on because the girls say, "Oh, you
But
play
then
football? What position you play? You're the quarterback."
Yeah.
Oh,
then you got to think about
I'm
this year
Stacy.
too. Then
Here's Stacy's mom.
That's a good reference. Then you got to think about this though as well. Ain't nobody been in the fans in the stands this year.
So you're not playing for anything.
You're not playing in front of anybody.
Listen, being vain as you can be, but you're playing for the cheerleaders and the fan. Like I said, you're playing for some reason. Either girls watching, your parents watching.
If you're good enough, maybe a scholarship, but I don't think many schools are just going to be out recruiting this year.
So that was my idea
God, imagine how that's going to mess up recruiting for a lot of schools.
That was my idea as a good player on a bad team. Mm-hmm. What if you're a bad player on a bad team?
I'm about to ride left
would you even
the whole
show
time?
up? Would you even show up? Or if you're a bad player on a good football team, but you're not going to get to play at all.
But you want the ring.
But not let's say a non-ring winning team. Let's say West Lincoln, a pretty good team. They're going to win 8-9 games. They're probably not going to win the state.
Right.
Do you still make the decision that I'm going to play and risk all of that just for some football games?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. That comes down to how serious they think the virus is, first of all. But then again, you're asking ages between like 15 and 18 to actually start paying attention to the news, which is going to be very tough.
Which you can't believe the news.
I know that's what's so tough too. You don't know what's real and you don't know what's been inflated. And then also, you got to ask a kid this as well, because this is really gonna sway them as well. 100%. Do they want to learn from home, or do they want to have to come to school and to play? Because if they would much rather do online learning, but they won't be able to play the sports while they're at home.
You have to require them to come.
I don't understand that either.
That's kind of and the argument was that I was told was that if you're healthy enough and good enough and brave enough to play full, you can come to the school too. But like you and me said, that's double the risk.
And if we're all about mitigating risk,
you're right.
Then why would you want them there more than what's necessary? I don't.
So we're going to get back to baseball here in a little bit. Let's finish with this because while we're on it, because I've got like 9 things in baseball I got to get to.
This has all just been a coronavirus segment because the Marlins started catching it.
So
how dare you guys? How dare you?
So after you left,
I'm just kidding.
I had like I said, I was talking to Trent, so I had a fairly important conversation with him. Folks, you watching online, this is David Devine's group, football coach. There's David hitting left-handed. See if he feels like he did well. Took a heck of a swing. He's looking at it. I guess he didn't watch where it landed. So Hunter, I'm guessing he didn't. You were up there. Do you remember where David hit his
ball? I don't remember. I think they had a pretty good hole.
He came by and talked to it. He talked to the group, and he came talk to me before the show, and he's got his hair long. And I said, I didn't even recognize you with that long hair. And he said, now this is after he shook my hand. He said, I'm trying to avoid touching everybody, and I won't even let my sister cut my hair.
You already shook your hand.
Yeah. But anyway. And he's riding in a golf cart all day with somebody else. So what he was basically bringing up when we got into talking about is what happens if a head coach gets it? What happens?
What happens if coaching staff gets it?
Yeah. So
What happens? Because think about it. I mean, they're not always there. But what
crazy.
happens if a personal trainer gets it?
that too.
Or who is
Now,
it that's on the sideline?
a lot of the training staffs. I don't know exactly how Cleveland County does, but I remember Gaston when I played. They hired a company that did it, and they just
Bandy's.
they
We
just
were.
sent
I mean,
people
we
in.
weren't. I mean, we weren't hired a company. We had a guy that came out was really strictly with us through
Yeah.
Catawba Valley.
Okay. Yeah. So some of the schools, one of my best friends works in South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what he does. He works for a company that is outsourced by the school. So Burns High School in South Carolina pays this company to be their trainers.
Yeah.
So I actually go down and play in the Burns golf tournament down there because his doctor's office
Right.
pays for him to play in all these tournaments and stuff, and he just invites me down there.
Yeah.
We go play in the Burns,
But-
South Carolina. That's the Burns.
But
South
I know,
Carolina
but I know
tournament.
that's how it is for here in every now and then the HDMI would get unplugged when Jason was trying to track the ball down.
Yeah.
But I know that's just something that we would have here. You know, it was Dan the Man. That's what we would call him. Was Dan the Man was our personal trainer out there, and he would come out. He was out there through obviously Catawba Medical, and but think about that. I don't know necessarily if he does anything in the hospital setting.
Yeah.
But they're telling people, I mean, unless you're like deathly sick, not even to come to the hospital. So, I mean, I don't know. There just doesn't seem to be quite a great mitigation of risk with the high school. Now, at the college level, if you can get kids because they're over 18 to just sign waivers, then it's the same thing
Right.
that I was just talking about with the
adults.
Marlins in baseball. It's like you gave every player ample opportunity to opt out if they wanted to opt out. So they knew what they were signing up for when they decided to take on the season.
Yeah.
So at this point, that's why I was like, I don't see why the MLB just can't continue because these players knew it was almost like it's like risk and safety. You signed off on the contract. Here you go. Let's go ahead and play the season. Where me and you understand that it's completely different now is the high school level, and I think
Yeah.
that's just been the biggest question mark here, especially in the area. You know, they call this county of champions. I mean,
Yeah.
Cleveland County wants to know whether or not they want to expect another ring this year.
Shelby, the most winningest team in the whole state of North Carolina in all levels. Hunter, another thing that was brought up that we're worried about, kind of talking about, is, and you weren't there for this either, is Trent was talking to me, and I mentioned to him that I'm not sure that we're even going to be allowed to broadcast
I was
games.
honestly about to say that when you
So-
started to say that, like
Yeah.
that was brought up. I was about to say, are they even going to allow media to
Right.
go in to cover these games?
Well, how about this? Trent said that, and I may be misquoting him, misgetting it right, but basically, the schools have already ordered automated video equipment. He had to. He said he had to sign off on some type of equipment. And he was like, "What is this?" And looking and digging into it, it looks like some type of automated video equipment. And so we're concerned that what's going to happen is that the schools are going to say no fans.
Cut us out.
They're going to run everything through their website and on all the sports, and then they're going to charge the parents and fans to watch online because there's no fans in the stands.
and that's how they'll make their gate money.
So think about this, Hunter. Not even football. What if you're a parent?
That's it's
what
like
if you're a
why are you
parent of
charging a subscription to watch a high school football game for a year?
Well, that, and then, but what about the other sports? So how many folks show up to a soccer game?
Mostly parents, maybe friends. So okay,
In a-
at the gate,
in
maybe
a football
30 people.
stadium, can 30 people socially distance enough to be able to have fans? To me, the only sports that should do that maybe are the ones that you're going to have fans, packed in maybe. But it
Basketball.
would make me mad that my daughter's playing softball and she goes to practice every day and plays softball for the school so the school can sell hot dogs or whatever the reason they're playing for. And I can't go see her, and I have to pay to watch online.
Yeah, it's paywall for a
so-
subscription.
So we're worried and concerned, folks. We don't know. We don't know if A, the governor will let us broadcast, B, the athletic association, C, the individual schools, and then D, are they already preparing to do their own type of broadcast? And from what I'm hearing and told, maybe they are. And then KTC, maybe the end of this golf tournament, maybe the last thing KTC ever broadcast in high school sports. Because I mean, if they're going to tell us they don't want us there, and then turn around and do some BS like, well, y'all could do radio, we're like, no, I'm not. We're not here for that. We've bent over backwards and done our best and worked our asses off for all these years to do this and provide coverage of these schools, and for them to do what we may see them do. I hope it's a state decision if they tell us we're not coming, and not what me and
High
Trent's
schools.
worried about, saying we're going to do our own thing and
Mm-hmm.
you guys bump off. Because then again, Hunter, you're going to have people saying, well, why don't y'all cover the schools? Why don't y'all, all people
Well,
do
you
is
heard it here
complain
first.
about not being
You heard
able-
it here first.
Yeah.
If it happens, why don't you cover the high schools? This is what you're hearing right now.
People complain all the time about, so Dustin George over the Shelby Star, he's one person, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
4 schools. Every Friday or whatever one, he'd write his article, he'd have comments on his Twitter or Facebook, or why don't you cover our school, or you only cover this school.
Yeah.
Dustin didn't care. He don't care. And then one night he snapped back at some people and he's like, I just never thought that it would be this bad and unappreciated, and I can't be everywhere. And I next time I saw him, I tapped him on the shoulder and said, hey buddy, I feel you. I know exactly what you've been through, what you mean. Because one thing is people aren't informed. So when a school, like in the past, say like Lincoln told us they didn't want us to come do, when a school decides they don't want us to come do games, Hunter, did they send an email to all the parents and said, hey, the administration decided that we did not want KTC to do the games? No, nobody knows.
No, that was
so the only
like
people that know are
that
is
was
us
like 2
broadcasting
years
it.
ago. That was like 2 years ago. I know that we got it fixed, but that was like it was the final game of the season for football, and it was for conference championship. It was between North Lincoln and Bandy's, and I had posted on a bunch of social media accounts of mine just trying to promote it. That hey, North Lincoln fans, Bandy's fans in the area. Obviously, I'm from like in between both of them. I was like, we're gonna have you're the game of the week this week. So if you can't make it, you can still listen to it. You can still find it. And then I don't know what happened. Athletic director said that we couldn't come anymore. And I started getting tons of messages saying, what is this that I'm hearing you're not going to come? And I had to just let people know this is what happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, it got resolved and we were able to go and do the game. But it's exactly what you mean. If you let people know and they get all excited for it, that's the same thing as if you were to tell you, it's like telling your kids, hey, we're going to go get ice cream. You pass the ice cream shop on your way going home, and they're like, what is this? And he's like, sorry.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Sorry.
So-
we ain't getting ice cream
So
no
Saturday
more.
night I couldn't move.
And then they're like, why?
Saturday night I couldn't move with back spasms from the golf from the weekend, and my kids were like, we want to go swimming. And I'm like, we will tomorrow. It's about 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon. I'm still laying on the couch.
Yeah.
And they're like, we going swimming today? And I'm like, I guess I promised. But the swimming made my back feel way better.
Yeah.
So it was good for all of us. We did jump in a little
But
bit.
that's just something, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know
We're
everything that
concerned
goes
about-
on behind the scenes
right.
that we do deal with sometimes. You just don't. We're
Well,
just
like I
able
said,
to bring to you what we bring
when
to
a
you.
school decides they don't want us to come, they don't email all the parents and say, "Hey, we decided that it's more important to sell hot dogs
Mm-hmm.
than the grandparents and the fans from across the country of your school to watch this."
And not only that, when they tell us that we can't come, we can't just say too bad and just show up. And they kind of have final say on whether or not we can come or not.
Yeah,
So,
well, they don't police people streaming in the stands well at all. So
no.
at some point, Hunter, we could save broadcast fees and be like, okay, we'll cover the game from. We're just going. I think
I'll
about it.
just
I could
pay
send-
a ticket.
I could
I'll
s-
buy a ticket. It'd be
No,
cheaper to just
we'll be,
do that.
We'll be press, and we could still say we're going to cover the game on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And the North Carolina Twitter rules allow you to post like 3 to 5 minutes of video during the game. So if you're posting 30-minute clips, you can almost get all the scores
Mm-hmm.
in. And so Hunter can sit on the sidelines and be like, "Hey, this is Shelby," and they can't do nothing. But we've had athletic directors who specifically told us that we couldn't come to the games. Their team makes the playoffs, and then they're all of a sudden live streaming with their phones. The athletic director is live streaming at an away team's game. The hypocrisy
It's
knows no
dumb.
bounds.
Man,
but,
it's dumb.
But listen, folks. We want to do all the sports we can. We're going to get to it. Hopefully, but we can't promise anything. And just bear with us.
Just
We'll
know
do
that
as well.
as of right now, high school's just up in the air.
Right now, KTC, what we can do is we have NASCAR and Atlanta Braves baseball. So
Exactly right.
tune into that.
It's exactly right. Everything else up in there.
Our next highlights that I'm about to pull up feature some friends of mine. This is Jake Lackey and Ian Upton and Ian's dad Donald, and they ended up I think eagling here, and they've in the guy David, I think Daniel Dealey's his name. I don't have the sheet in front of me, But one of the fourth guy with him is actually from South Africa. And this is his first time
Oh
playing.
yeah, I
playing it.
was told that there was a gentleman from South Africa out here on one of the teams.
So this is my friend Jake right here in the orange. Really nice guy. And just missed. Jake has went from, he has steadily improved his golf game, and you can just tell that Jake's gotten better and better through the years at golf. Ian has always been a good athlete and a good, when you're an athlete, you got good hand-eye coordination for the most part. And Hunter, if you can drive it 300 yards, that's some good hand-eye coordination. You just got to be able to hit it and swing like that. This is the kid or the guy, I guess he's not a kid from South Africa, just missed his putt. Don Upton will miss this one. Then Ian saves the day. And then Tom's comment on it was something like, "Well, you get 3 looks at it." Like, okay, Tom, we're gonna bring you out here and putt fourth every time. Then see how many you nail.
Yeah, that's funny.
Like again, you still have to, like I was saying to Travis, you still have to aim and hit it in the right spot and the right speed, whether or not you do. All right, Hunter, I got some questions in Major League Baseball.
Yes.
I want to see where you want to start.
All right.
And none of these are going to be lengthy. Just a couple of comments here and there
All right,
on
let's
what's
do it
going
then.
on. We've got the kneeling of the national anthem or before the national anthems.
Mm-hmm.
We've got cardboard fans.
I like it.
We've got standings. We've got the Trout report, and we've got CGI fans in the stands.
Saw
Which one
that.
would you like me to touch on first?
You can just go right down the list then. You can just go right down the list. We'll start with whatever you said first.
All right, we're going to go with the kneeling in the Black Lives Matter movement. I don't think 99% of people would agree that Black Lives Matter, but I meant to say they do agree. But when you look at the organization that uses that moniker and look at their mission statement, one of their missions is to destroy the nuclear family, Hunter. Mm-hmm. And so Marcellus Wiley was on yesterday or the day before, I guess Friday, talking about this exact same thing. And Terry Crews got a lot of heat from the things he said, but a lot of them, they're saying that, the organization is different than the saying and the meaning. Mm-hmm. And you have to go by that. So Major League Baseball players, and what I wanted to ask you, have been kneeling before the national anthem. And a couple of the players, and specifically a couple of the Christian players, have refused to kneel because if you are of Christian faith, you're not supposed to kneel to anyone other than Jesus Christ.
I've seen the gentleman that quote came from,
right.
Specifically.
So there's the question is, Hunter, and I'm watching this guy that don't really know much about sports, but is a political commentator. I don't know if you know Tim Pool is.
No.
He was talking about how his mother is Korean and his father is white, and when they were banned from being married in Korea and came to this country, and so he sees the flag as a representative of freedom that his family did not have freedom in their country. Most people that look at the flag look at it that I see as a representation of people who've died for our freedoms.
Military.
There's been plenty of people, whether or not you like your country or whatever, there's been plenty of people who have died on a battlefield for that flag and for the representation of what that flag means. Martin Luther King, in his speech, he was specifically pointing to, we want to live up to what that flag and the Declaration of Independence. He was saying that the black folks have not been allowed to participate in it, and they want to participate and be members of that. He wasn't saying that was bad. He was saying they want to be allowed to have those freedoms and express those. So, so this goes to this. You can say something about folks that can be interpreted as racist, right? Well, the Kaepernick thing about the kneeling is he said it wasn't disrespectful, but people can interpret it as disrespectful. So you can't have both ways, one way or the other. So then now these baseball players are doing it, which is, freedom of speech. My thing is, would this be flying if there were fans in the stands? Because right now they can kneel all they want and not hear a single boo. They won't get any repercussions from the stands. They won't know
It won't
They
hurt the
won't-
box office
right, they
'cause
won't-
nobody's going to
They
the,
won't
the
know if
gates.
only half people are leaving, or if people aren't showing up, or people aren't buying things. So now they're doing it with no, I would say, financial repercussions to be able to do this. And the same thing with the WNBA players walking off the other day when they started playing it. They just walked out of the gym. But if there's nobody in the gym to watch it, like, what are they doing? So finally, my final question for it is, Hunter, why don't they just not play it? Because I know it's a tradition, but is there any reason to play? Did you ever play the national anthem before Little League games or anything like that? Other than professional and like college and high school stuff, like, you know.
Not before Little League, not before
Right.
travel ball. I mean,
So if you're not playing another country, say like as the Olympics, you know, should the question is, should you or should you not play the national anthem for that reason? Because, you know, it's country and military songs. So for the Olympics, fine. But when you're playing two teams, in you know, here, and we're not playing for country, you're just playing for Pittsburgh versus Atlanta. That's the question that some people have, is that at this point, should they even play it? Because no matter what happens,
someone's gonna.
someone's going to be upset on one side or the other. So what happens this way, Hunter? What if we said no national anthem? Now remember, Kaepernick said it wasn't about the flag, it wasn't about the national anthem. So then, when do they still kneel at a certain point? Do they still do something that's the question. If it's not about that, if it's not that you don't like your country, if it's not that you're disappointed in your country, then what would your reaction be, and what would you do? They say they want a voice, they want a message. What would that be if there was no national anthem? Because during all this in the last 60 days, have you seen Kaepernick anywhere?
Yeah, I saw him kneeling with Dr. Dre.
Where at?
Not at a sports complex.
Well,
it was on Twitter.
No, okay. Have you when I meant have you seen him? I mean, have you seen him at any of the protests?
Oh, do you mean him at any of the protests or as an activist?
Have you ever seen him at a protest? If you're protesting police brutality, why wouldn't you go to the actual police station and protest as opposed to take a knee to the national anthem? So I personally really don't have a feeling either way on it. I just want it to make sense to me, so I can be able to maybe form an opinion to where, you know, if you're not being disrespectful and don't want to be to the people who used to be, then you shouldn't probably be kneeling towards it. But then other people say, well, kneeling is a form of respect. But then again, like the Christians said, not the Christians, the Christians will believe and say that you don't bend your knee or bow down to anyone other than God. So there's a lot of nuances to that, and would it be better altogether, Hunter, is what I'm getting at, if professional sports, college sports, just didn't play it?
I mean, yeah. I think they've been
Have
saying...
you ever looked forward to the national anthem or anything
Ever
like that?
since Kaepernick started kneeling, that has actually been a topic that I feel like has come up at least maybe, if not just once a year. I mean, why do they even play it? I mean, it's the same thing when they said, why in elementary school did you stand up and say the pledge?
Right. Now
It's the same exact thing when
The
you have
US
the one kid that sits there and doesn't want to do it, and the teacher gets him in trouble, but he just didn't want to do it.
Now, it's not the national anthems, but the military does pay the NFL to be able to do. They actually pay the NFL to do the honor of the military stuff.
Oh yeah,
So the
salute to
military
service.
month, all that is actually paid. So they're making money off the U.S. military for that, and then turn around, the players are kneeling to them.
I don't know.
And hold on, and all the flyovers and all that's paid for by the military. So the national anthem isn't exactly paid for or run by the military.
Right.
So that's the question: is that if you guys don't like it so much, you don't hear it, fine, we won't play it. So now what are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Why don't you do this? You could say it one of two ways. Either stop playing it as a whole, the anthem, just stop playing it as a whole, or if you want to still be able to play it for the fans, give the players the options not to come out if they don't want to. If they don't want to come out on the field, then they can stay in the locker room if they want.
Because if you give the option, you say,
if
you come out and stand for the national anthem, or you stay in the locker room if you don't like the national anthem. But if your reaction then, Hunter, is I'm going to come out and kneel, then you are disrespecting the flag, are you not?
I mean, I don't
That specifically, I'm coming out for that song and for that.
I don't know, because this is what's so tough for me about the kneeling
so weird.
situation. It's so tough for me because I am one of them that does look at it as a sign of respect. I do look at it as it is an ode to the military, 100%. That's exactly how I look at it. I know I know too many friends that are a part of the military, and I know of too many people just within the surrounding communities that have lost people in the military, and that is essentially what it is to me. It's not quite just the national anthem of the United States to me. It's more of the national anthem of the United States military. That's how I look at it. And some people will say, oh, well, that's really not what it's supposed to be. I'm sorry. You guys get all upset when people interpret things differently than you.
Right.
That's how I interpret it.
That's how you interpret it.
Now, I understand the original meaning behind the kneeling. It was to bring light to social injustice, and it was to bring to the light. It was to direct people's eyes to what they weren't looking at ever. It brought a focal point to police brutality within America and with the social injustice. So I understood that. My problem was always the platform. Was that necessarily the time or space? But then they'll always come back and say, well, when would have been a better time? And I'm like, you know what? I get it. But it doesn't mean I have to, I can be all for what you're standing for. That doesn't mean I have to appreciate how you did it.
When they say there's a better time, in this time in our country, Hunter, you have interviews after the games.
Yes.
And then after the game,
there have been some players that have been using that opportunity right now.
In football, you have 6 days between games. You have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have Twitter. You can go. You have all the platform that you want now.
Right.
So the only platform is the platform that you, like I said, you've got all the platforms you want. So you can get your word out now without any problem whatsoever, and it will get out. But they're not doing that, and that's what was questioned. Like I said with the Kaepernick, why has he not been to one single police precinct?
How I always looked at it too.
He turned down a meeting with I think it was the San Francisco police, offered to meet with him and talk to him, and he no-showed them. So like they gave him the opportunity to come in and let's talk about it. And
I think the problem as well that I had with it, it was just one of those things where when I said it, I don't know if that was necessarily the time or place. I mean, they're not just going to let me do that at my job.
Right?
Like I thought of it as a work, as a workplace environment. I don't know. It's just touchy. It's super touchy because you can't. No matter what you do with it, someone's going to be upset and someone's going to be happy.
Yeah.
There will be no in between on it, other than you just give them the option, because you don't want to just say this. We're going to continue to play the national anthem, but players can't be out here. Because what about the players that do enjoy listening to the national anthem before the games? What about the players that do look at it as an opportunity to show their support for the troops and for the country? Telling them that they can't be out there, that's gonna be tough. But giving the option to the guys that just don't want to be out there to begin with is fine. You could take it away. That's cool too. You know what else you could do as well? Television just stopped showing it.
Cool, that too. I'm 100%.
Television, like the media companies, they don't have to show it. They can cut away to a commercial break. NFL did that for a little while, where it would be just for the national anthem, and they would just cut away. I think the games that they didn't do it on, I think if there was a game on maybe close to September 11th, that was one that they obviously wouldn't cut away for, and maybe the Thanksgiving games. But other than that, I mean, they cut away most of the time because of the backlash that they took, and that might be just an agreement that the owners had to write up with the media companies and say, look, you can continue to cover our product, but we can't be taking this kind of social hit anymore. I don't know. It's tough, and it's in every one of them now. You will never make anybody 100% happy. But what I say to those people is, look, that's just life. That's just life. You're not going to be 100% happy with anything.
Like when Zach was here the other day, it says in the Bible, Hunter, that life isn't. Don't know exact words, but life's not fair.
That's not fair. If you are, and I know we're not obviously religious, a religious podcast, but obviously I'm a Christian, and so I do know it was as soon as Eve took a bite in the garden, Adam and Eve, it got hard. I mean, God, no shit. I'm not lying. It got hard. God basically told Adam, "You are to work the earth, to plow and work the earth, and that will be your job." And Eve is to basically be on your right hand and to give you children. Essentially, like it's kind of just black and white like that. Adam, you're working. You're going to work you will work the earth until you go into the earth. That's exactly what it is. It's not fair. It's not fair.
The point of the country,
Ladies and gentlemen, none of us are getting out of this alive.
the point of the country,
so
the point of the country is equal opportunity. You're right. Nobody's getting out alive. Nobody's immortal. The point of the country and the point of the freedom, when they say everyone's equal, it's not like you don't get equal outcome. You get equal opportunity. You get to go.
Yes.
You get to go to public school for 12 years. You get to apply for. You have the freedoms that the Bill of Rights gives you. You have the freedoms that God gives you. You have the freedoms for all those, and then it's at some point, Hunter. It's personal responsibility. It's personal. It's your family. It's all this other things. I'm 100% against. My opinion as far as the political stuff. I'm against these foreign wars. I'm against us. Getting in involvements and spending our money and spending our lives on stuff that has nothing to do with us or will not help our country. However, I always think that I should respect that. So to me in my life, at some point, you felt like, you could feel disappointed in your country and you could feel disappointed in how they act. Like, if you think taxation is theft and you just still don't agree with your country, but at the end of the day, after all of that, I can be mad about all of that in my country. But at the end of the day, there's still people that died or have died for that flag and for the rights for us to be able to do it. And that's where you get to the line where some people are like, that's where it is where I myself am not going to kneel, but don't call me, racist or something else because I respect the fact that people have actually died on purpose or for the freedoms that we have. And so I think that's a lot of the confusion on that. All right, fans. Let's talk fans in baseball. And I'm not talking about the ones that blow wind. We're talking about cardboard.
I like them.
And we're talking about CGI.
I like the cardboard ones more than the CGI.
I don't like neither. Now, the cardboard they're having a little fun with. I'll say this.
They're having a lot of fun with
Did you
it.
know on some of them, if a ball hits your cardboard, you get to keep the ball.
Oh.
So you buy your face, they stick it in a seat, and if they put the barcode on it or whatever, tie it to it. So if a ball hits that your cardboard cutout, whether it's a home run or foul ball or whatever, you get to get
Cool,
the
spreading
ball.
coronavirus.
Yeah,
No,
well,
I'm
there you go. I didn't think about that. But you get to keep the ball,
That's
yeah.
fine. I was just
Now,
joking
the
about that
CGI
anyways.
Fox is now going to put fake fans, CGI
I
fans.
don't like it. That looks too fake.
Well, besides the fact of that, Hunter, why even put anything in it? We know there's nobody there.
I know there's nobody,
So-
but I
so what
like
are we
the
doing?
cardboard stuff because it is funny.
Well, okay. Besides the funny part, the reasoning in it behind it just blows my mind. We all know this fan's grimpy. Now, and here's my other thing: what happens next year when the stands are only 30% full or 40% full?
We're gonna put more cardboard.
In Major League Baseball, where the Braves say, "Hey, Fox, put some fake stands in the upper deck for us, so it doesn't look like our stadiums
are almost empty.
It looks like we're having sellouts right now." Listen, people, Hunter,
It's a simulation.
Hunter.
We're living in it.
Well, let me ask you something, and I know this is going off on a weird topic or a weird place,
We've been everywhere this morning.
but you've been
or this
watching.
afternoon.
So the fact that we're going to be able to watch fake fans in the stands, that is so dystopian. It's ridiculous. Now you said, I remember you saying a couple months back, mentioning the movie Avatar, right? That's a beautifully outstanding movie as far as visual effects and all that, right? People watch, Thor and Spider-Man, and they see all these effects and buildings blow up. If you weren't in New York on September 11th, how do you know that it happened? How do you know you didn't just watch a movie? That you didn't just watch a TV? That you didn't just watch a CGI plane blow up on TV? I'm not saying it's not real. What I'm saying is that we are stepping towards putting virtual fake fans in the stands to deceive our eyes. What makes you think that nothing else could be done that way? What makes you think they're not going to come up with some type of news report in the future into that sentence to make you look like they could show people on TV a plane hitting a building and then blow the building up, and you think the plane did it as opposed to a bomb. I'm not saying that's what happened on World Series. What I'm saying is that with the virtual CGI, if y'all are going to put fans in the stands, I've seen plenty of realistic movies. How am I going to know what's real when the news starts doing that? That's what scares
You're
me
too
about
deep
this.
right now.
Dude, I'm just telling you.
I know. Now look.
The Fox is doing it. Like,
Listen, I know.
fake
I know.
people in
I'm
the
just
stands?
I'm just saying.
It's creepy.
That's deep.
It's creepy.
That's another level, and that's another topic. That's almost a
Think
whole
about
podcast in itself.
Whoever the winner in history writes history. Mm-hmm. And Hunter, we can see here as far as the Portland riots go, you can look on the internet and see half the people in this planet say there's riots in Portland, and the other half in this country say it's a myth. Did you see Jerry Nadler yesterday? Mm-hmm. A reporter caught up with Nadler on the streets of Washington with no mask on, walking with his handler, and they asked him about the myths in Portland. I mean, the Portland riots, and he said, "Oh, that's all a myth." He is a standing member of Congress saying people rioting is a myth. So, Hunter, if he wins the election and he's in charge of the information and he's in charge of the media, what's a myth and what's reality? And so that's what I'm getting at. When you're outright telling you we're showing you fake stuff to make you feel better about there not being, when are they going to show you something fake and not tell you about it? And that's what I don't like about this at all. It's almost like an introduction to something that may have already happened and we don't know. Now all of a sudden we developed the ability to put CGI in the stands? Now, just now. It's never happened before. And we've been watching.
Marlins are going to pay big money for that.
When did Star Wars the prequels came out in what, late 90s?
The prequels?
That's when the CGI really started. So
what, you talking 1, 2, and 3?
Yes.
I came out like early 2000s.
I think it was earlier than that. We'll see.
Maybe one. I know 3.
I know 2 or 3 came out in college because I was hanging out with the guy from
3
college.
came out when I was like almost 10.
Yeah.
10 or 11. And that was mid 2000s. That was like 2006.
Okay.
But I don't know how long in between.
Still,
maybe the first one.
The point, it's been at least 15, 20 years that CGI has been a viable technology. Well, so I don't know. I don't like it. I would rather see I want to see reality. I want to see what's on. If there's no fans in the stands, that's fine. The cardboard is way, way better than CGI.
I love the cardboard.
I
think the
CGI.
cardboard is just funny because you can be. Now look, I'm not gonna sit here and say you can't be creative with CGI. By God, they could be pretty dang creative with it. But the cardboard's just funny to me.
Right, I get
you. Look
I get
behind
you
there and you
that.
see like maybe a cutout of a puppy dog, and you're like, oh, look at that. What is it doing there? It's not supposed to be a baseball game.
Star Wars 1 was 1999. So.
Okay, I was gonna say it was. I'm gonna say it was early 2000s was when it was really close.
So the introduction of CGI was in '99, basically, and September 11th was 2001. I'm just saying that what you could do. I'm not saying.
But everybody, if you even bring up the 9/11 in any sort of fashion like that, you tread a dangerous line for a lot of things.
Well, let's think of something else that's happening. How about the tsunamis? That you could fake tsunamis on CGI and say, "Hey, look what's happening in Florida right now. Look what's happening in Canada." Or just make up the place.
You could fake a lot of stuff.
So that's.
Did you see Spider-Man Coming Home?
Did
you see that movie?
That stuff scares me.
Did you see the Spider-Man? Was it Coming Home movie?
No.
Or Homecoming? I think that was the name. It doesn't matter. It was the newest one. Oh yeah, you watch that, and then you'll understand that your theory actually has merit to it. But nobody. It's too deep of a rabbit hole for a sports show. We would have to have a completely different show.
Right. My point of the whole thing was, I think the CGI is creepy, and the fact that they are voluntarily showing you fake stuff makes you really think, what have they shown you fake before that's not, no matter what it is.
And I am all for what I would love to see. Well, here's the problem.
What if the JFK shooting was fake?
No,
that was CGI.
Oh my God, let's stop that. No, look, but what I really want to say about this as well, what I like about the cardboard stuff too, this is what I don't like about the cardboard.
Okay.
What do you do when you're done with them? You probably just burn them, so you're wasting trees. That's the only thing. I'm not a tree hugger, but I am one that's like, man, let's just quit wasting shit if we ain't gotta waste shit. But if they're gonna do cardboard, I would love for one of them to just do nothing but dogs. Nothing but dogs.
There are people that's putting their dog in the stands.
I just want nothing. I just want a whole stadium full of pups. Pups and maybe cats. You want to do cats and dogs just for the whole stadium. I think that would be fantastic.
Which one do you think's a better pet, cat or a dog?
A dog.
You're a dog person.
I'm a dog person, but I will say this: I've grown to like cats more. We have a cat at the now. Look, the easier one to take care of is a cat because you kind of just let it do its own shit.
Right.
It kind of learns how to use the litter box
Right.
and just does its own thing. All you gotta do is feed it.
Right.
The dog, you have to house train it. You gotta pray to God when you leave it doesn't tear up shit.
Right.
I mean, so the dog obviously is more work, but I love
The cats.
I love
the
dogs.
cats catch rodents.
Oh my God, our cat does that. See, what we had is we had
David Devine. I'm watching this putt. That was not a good putt, Coach.
But our cat, that's what she does sometimes. We have to be very careful because we like to leave the back door open and let the dogs go in and out. You don't know how many times we've heard her meow coming in the door, and she's got like a rabbit that might not quite be dead, and I have to try and catch that some bitch and throw it back outside, and I'm literally like, you better run high tail out of here when I let you go because she's coming for you. She's looking for you right now, and I'm saving you.
Our camera had the date on it. It says August 12, 2016.
And it really wasn't.
And it was a Saturday. This is Divine's group. I don't know if this is Spencer. I think it is Spencer putting right there.
Yeah, that was the one that was over there with Anna. That was the one she was using because I know ours didn't.
Yeah. This is the 9th hole. That was Spencer
I
Divine.
thought that was the 18th hole she was on.
Yeah, she was on the
we
18th.
were on the 9th.
she was on 18. That was Spencer Divine getting close.
But
Dave,
yeah, I'll
Dave
tell
didn't get nowhere
I
close.
tell you, man, cats they're crazy animals.
It was just the reason I said that. Marcellus Wiley he's a cat man, and he's always ragging on how dumb dogs are.
Are you kidding me?
So he's like, there was a video of like they showed a
Yeah,
it was a piece of cheese
right.
and it was still kind of on the plastic wrapper. No, it was a paper towel holding a piece of cheese, and the cat just sniffed it and didn't mess with it.
And the
It
dog
just kinda
probably took
backed
the
up.
whole fucking paper towel.
Yes, the dog ate the paper towel and cheese.
Yeah,
together.
that's my sister's dog, Olive.
That's what he was like. Don't tell me dogs are better than cats.
Because Olive, my sister's dog, Olive is a Great Dane. So
Yeah.
we have to be careful because if we don't put something on the lid of the trash can,
Yeah.
she just flip the trash can open and stick her whole head in there and eat
Right.
whatever she wants.
Yep.
So she will just eat whatever. She just doesn't care. She's got a metal stomach. She just does not care.
I don't know what happened to my Divine and them putting right there, but folks, you wondering why I'm showing golf? You just tuning in. This is from the Burns golf tournament this weekend. Just rolling through, showing some of the highlights that we had from the weekend. I want to thank everybody for that play, especially the folks that come up and talked for a minute and said something to Hunter and Tom.
Yeah, big thank you to them.
Y'all's biggest mistake with that: don't give them the opportunity to choose. Just walk up and put the microphone in their face.
That's them. Look, that's
like-
that's Tom's corner. I left that up to Tom. Sorry, Tom, throwing you under the bus.
Tom should've went in there,
I was chilling up
force him
there,
to talk.
making sure everything was working up under the awning. But I saw this, so I clicked on this talking about the NBA
Yeah.
starting Thursday. And one of the
Hold
things
on.
was
We still got baseball. Let's finish that.
what was the last one?
I got two more.
Oh.
Standings and Trout.
Standings.
Real quick, in the standings, Hunter, in 3 games, this isn't going to take long, but in 3 games, not a single team is undefeated or 0-3. So everybody's either 2-1 or 1-2.
I mean, that's not bad.
Well,
Then we really can't come out with great standings to say, oh well, this team is significantly
can't
better
say
than the other
nothing
one.
right now.
Nothing. You can't say anything.
other than I'm going to laugh at the Angels
But
and
I want
Mike
you-
Trout.
yeah,
Trout
well-
in game 1 had a hit, and they lost and got on base. In game 2, he had a home. In game 2, he went 0 for 4, and they won. In game 3, he had a home run, and they lost. So Hunter, how did Trout help his team win? But I guarantee he's got the highest WAR on the team, and he didn't help his team do jack.
Nah, it didn't help him.
Shit.
It didn't help him. It didn't help him. Hey, look, Angels.
0 for 4 and you win, and you get hits and you lose.
Listen, Angels, you're right where we thought you were going to be at this time. I thought
Tied
you could
for
have been,
last.
tied for last. You could have been 0 for 3, but you're 1 for 2.
Ohtani didn't get out of the first inning. Did you see that?
No, he was awful. He was awful. Well, my God, I was watching the Braves and the Mets yesterday night, and it was the 3rd inning, and we were already up 7-1, and I was like, well, final score is like 14-1. I was like,
Yeah.
good Lord, what's going on here? What? Somebody came to play.
Y'all wasted a lot of runs yesterday and hits.
We did waste a lot. We might need
You
those
got
coming
one-
on.
You only needed 2.
I know. We might
got
need those coming
14.
But I will tell you what, we put the league on notice.
But what you do, well,
We put the league on
what
there. So
happens
we got
is-
some damn
what
dangerous
happens
bats.
is baseball players don't want to get out if they can't have to. Like every hit helps your
Well,
batting
yeah, no one
average.
wants to get out either because I think Acuna's going through it already. When I saw him yesterday, when he finally came up when I was watching, he was already 0 for 2. I was like, dude, and one of them was a strikeout. And then guess what he did at next bat? He struck out. I was like, man, this is, you know what? Just get it out now while everybody else on your team is hitting it and making great contact with the ball and scoring runs. You better
Yeah.
get through this slump now because
Yeah.
we're gonna need you for a push.
Not everybody. Can.
This is all people forget. You can't just say, "Hey, I'm gonna go through my 10-game slump right now." No, no, it's a sprint, boy.
So Jackie Bradley's leading baseball with a 636 batting average. What if we have like 3 people bat 400 this year and we hadn't had it since what
God
the
Almighty.
40s maybe?
I'll
Last
say
time
you
somebody
what
hit
though, too. You know who
400?
else has come out on a tear? Stanton. Giancarlo Stanton has come
Yeah.
out on a tear. I don't think he played hardly at all last year due to an injury. He came out on a tear, and I'm excited to see that. I'm not happy that he's a Yankee. I'd be more excited if he was a Marlin because I can't stand the Yankees. I know what they paid him, but
Nelson Cruz of 3 home runs in 3 games. He's on pace for 60.
just keep it going, buddy.
Joey Votto, him and Stanton, Garcia, and Rizzo got 2 home runs.
Yeah,
Votto-
Stanton came out with a firecracker.
Nelson Cruz has 10 RBI
Dansby Swanson should be close up there.
in 3 games. Hosmer 7, and Swanson's tied with Maldonado
Probably
and
5.
Cavey or Cave with 6.
6. Okay, I was about to say because Swanson alone yesterday had 5. No, wait, does his count? No, yeah, I did count his when I did that because he had a 3 RBI double and then he had a 2-shot home run. So that was 5 alone yesterday.
Nelson Cruz, Turner, Iglesias, Rojas, and Bradley Jr. with 7 hits lead baseball. I don't care about stolen bases. Now I'll say this: Tommy Pham used to be a Cardinals on the Padres. He's got 4 stolen bases in 3 games. If he stays at that pace, I'll be impressed. That's damn Ricky Henderson area. Let's see, Hunter. Another thing that people were talking about is the extra inning rule.
The runner on
And
second.
we talked about it a little bit the other day, and I hate it for everything it can be. But for the most part, it ruins stats. It ruins.
Yeah.
I actually saw some pitchers talking about it that the hardest thing to do is get through the back end of a bullpen in baseball, and now you're giving guys runs and they're getting runs on their stats.
Mm-hmm.
So the pitchers are giving up runs. There's people on, but you're getting RBIs and runs scored that shouldn't count. So and that's the thing that people haven't taken into account. Like, does that guy's stats count? So you get an RBI for a guy that didn't even get on base. You get to score a run. So Mike Trout can strike out third all he wants, and he ends up on second base in the next inning. So what the hell? Like that's and I've seen some people like it, and I'm just like, come on, y'all. Again, that's not baseball. And if your goal is to hurry up the games, play 7 innings. Like if you're going to play 160 baseball games, play 7 innings. I would rather do that. Save pitching, and I'd rather play 7 innings and see the starter, see if he can go 700, than watch the 6th through the 9th inning nothing but a bunch of bullpen guys. And that's what baseball's turned into today. Is the starting pitchers gets through 5 or 6, and then it's bullpen, and then you wonder why it takes so long. But I don't like the guy on second. I don't know how you feel about that.
I'm indifferent, really, because I know why they did that. They want to speed up the inning. They want to just give the offensive team an opportunity. But to me, I think, honestly, people are going to think this is stupid because then it's just reversing the role. Why, if they're going to do that, why not start with an out already? If you're going to put a guy on second, then already start with an out. But if you're going to have the guy on second, just go ahead and the defense start with one out.
That's actually a rule. That might be the official international rule. There is an out. Or something.
Oh, is there? The international rule?
It's not the major league rule, but there is a league somewhere that was one of the thoughts and discussions of you should have an out too, and I could see that
because if you look at it this way, it puts so much pressure on your pitchers.
Has your life been ruined by extra inning baseball?
No.
So why do
I
you
just think
care?
it takes too long, but that's beside the point.
All right, when we talk about it takes too long, how many people are actually watching the whole game?
None.
The people who are worried about it taking too long are the people in the stands
Yeah.
because they've still got to get to the parking lot and ride home. And guess what happens in extra innings? They stop selling beer after the 7th.
That's bullshit.
You play 15 innings.
That's bullshit.
You've just watched a whole nother game with no beer. And I understand the thoughts and everything, but still, I don't know. It changes the game in a way, and you're adding stats and you're giving people stats that can't. How about, they blame Pujols for so in the first 2 games, Trout was 1 for 7, and he gets to play in the third game. Pujols was 0 for 8, and he scored the run in the win, and he got benched in the third game. Well, the 2 guys they had 2 guys that batted for Pujols spots. They went 0 for 5.
I don't know. Do I have a problem with it? Whatever. I mean, it's still too early to tell. I don't know. Stats wise, I mean, I can agree with you that it's gonna fudge up some people's stats and it's gonna make some some pitchers really upset if it hits their ERA. Like it's definitely gonna make them very upset.
Well, think about if you're coming in, usually starting an inning and extra innings, there's nobody on base, nobody out. You start from the windup. It's your batter. If you put a guy on second, you got a different feeling in your chest and heart.
That's what I meant when I said the pressure is completely on that pitcher,
right?
Not to screw up.
Well,
there is no pressure on the offense because they're like, dude, we already got a runner in scoring position with no outs.
You're exactly right. Here was the reason that they said the 1 out. You reminded me with that. Is because now with no outs, the first batter of the inning can just sacrifice the guy to third, and then no matter what, the guy scores.
Yeah, that's
as long as you hit a ball to the outfield, the guy scores. You get a chopper to second base, the guy might score. So that's the argument, and that's what I think the pitcher even said. He's like, so instead of watching people swinging the bat, now you're watching a sacrifice and a bloop, and that's what y'all would rather have, just because you want the game to end. That's dumb. So that's,
I can agree with that's dumb. That's dumb.
Yeah, first batter, you just bunt him over to third. Now you're on third with less than 2 outs.
But it's 2020. Try whatever you want. For God's sakes, we're making a loophole now for Mike Trout to get into the playoffs. So for God's sakes, just do what you want.
They just add as many.
Do what you want.
Add as many teams as they can until the Angels are in.
Yeah, I was just speaking on Acuna. I mean, hey, buddy. You were an MVP caliber player last year. After you won, you're batting 133 right now. I'm gonna need you to step up. Dansby's batting 417.
It's just 3 games, Hunter.
He's William Contreras. My man is batting 667.
I'll say it takes.
Only had 6
it takes
at-bats.
about 25 games for a batting average to start leveling out. So what I mean by that,
that's half the season now.
I know. So what I mean by that is that so 1 through 10, you get a hit. That's 100 points.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 through 30, that's only 30 points.
I know.
So the more at bats you accumulate, so about 20, 25 games, which is about a
He's
high
had
school
15 at bats.
Yeah, which is about a high school baseball season. Once you get to about 20, 25 games, that's when the batting.
He's averaging about
level
5 at bats so far, and he ain't hitting worth shit. Now he's got 8 strikeouts.
Oh no, he's not hitting worth the shit. That's awful.
8 strikeouts.
He's
only been on. He's had 3 total bases. He's had 2 hits, and one of them was a double.
8 strikeouts.
8
in 3
strikeouts.
games?
I'm looking at this. 8 strikeouts. That's what I'm saying, man. If you're in a slump, you better try and get out of that shit. This net, you cannot afford it in a 60-game series. Or in a 60-game season, you cannot afford to it because we see some guys go in slumps for 10 games.
Yeah.
You want to miss a tenth of, oh my God.
Acuna leads baseball in strikeouts. Ryan McMahon is second.
That's not surprising.
Ryan McMahon is second with 7.
I mean, I want you to think about that. 8. You have had 15 at bats and you've struck out 8 times.
You swung and missed.
Shit. Or you watched it.
That's true too.
God almighty, man. The next closest person with strikeouts.
McMahon is second with 7, and then there's 10 with 6.
The next closest person on the team's got 4. Yeah. He's doubled. He has doubled their strikeouts in the same amount of games because the second closest person is Dansby Swanson, and they both played 3 games. Swanson's just had 3 less at bats. But Swanson also has 6 RBIs. Acuna has 0. Acuna, I voted that you could possibly be this year's National League MVP. Don't screw me.
Hey, I need someone to explain WAR to me again, Hunter. We've played 3 games, and not a single person in baseball has any WAR. Well, somebody had to win a game. There's been 3 games won by, let's see, so half the teams in the league, at 15 teams times 2, that's 30, and then another 50. So 45 wins have been in baseball, and not a single person has a WAR.
I don't know.
How do you not have a win above replacement
If you've played 3 games and
45
teams at least have 2 wins, I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Something don't add up. It's fuzzy math around here.
Fishy.
Dumbass shit. All right, Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
NBA. Finish up the show. We'll talk NASCAR Wednesday and some NFL Wednesday with Rob. I got some questions for Rob. See what he thinks about
NBA wise, I mean, the only thing really to touch on is, I mean, it starts back Thursday, and I saw this on ESPN, and it was NBA power rankings, best and worst case scenarios for all 22 teams. And you want to know what the first thing is that popped into my mind? Is that the worst case scenario for all 22 teams is they catch coronavirus.
Somebody dies.
I was like, I'm like, what do you mean best and worst case scenarios? Like, the best case is they get through this and nobody gets sick. The worst case is we don't get through this and someone gets sick. It's that simple. Did you really have to write a column about it? I don't know. But NBA power rankings, I guess this is the most recent one. Oh, and apparently, what's his name? Woj is unsuspended, so he's tweeting again. There you go. There's an NBA news.
Hunter, who so that was a China thing with that.
Yeah.
And the NBA's been having some issues with that. So let's back up a spot. Where's the NBA playing?
Orlando.
At where?
Disney.
Who owns ESPN?
Disney.
Who owns the Angels?
Disney.
Hmm.
I don't mean to make a big but
I just question everything.
Well, with your questioning, this was as of I think 6:45 this morning was when this column was posted. So this is the latest and greatest power ranking for the 22 teams coming back. Sitting at number 1, it's not that hard to guess, the Milwaukee Bucks. Sitting at number 2, it's one of the LA teams, but it is the Lakers. At 3, there's the Clippers. At 4, there's Toronto. 5, the Denver Nuggets. And that's probably after they saw a little bit of action in the scrimmage games from Bowl.
Hold on, I got
Bowl.
I can't get my microphone, but oh,
So now let me read about this.
Champ's here. The champ is here.
Well,
Bowl is here.
let me read this. What they've said so far.
His second game, he had 15 points. So he's averaging 15
about
and a
15
half.
and a half, yeah. So here's the best case scenario they say for the Denver Nuggets. At a time when teams need to come together rapidly, the continuity that the Nuggets' young core has, along with the experience of 2 7-game series last postseason, could pay off in this unprecedented, I love when they use that word, the unprecedented restart situation. Bro, they're just about to play basketball. Okay, let's not try and paint a vivid picture. If the Nuggets take the next step and make the Western Conference Finals, they have the potential to upset either the Lakers or the Clippers. The worst case scenario, the Nuggets had to wait to get Nikola Jokic, Gary Harris, Torrey Craig, and Michael Porter to Orlando. Coach Michael Malone had to resort to an all-big lineup that included Jeremy Grant playing shooting guard and Bol at small forward in early practices and the first scrimmage. With a lack of players to restart the season, the inconsistent Nuggets could falter and suffer a first-round exit. I will say this, they are not going to suffer a first-round exit. No, I agree with that at all. Best case scenario, I think that's everybody's.
Champs.
I was going to say best case scenario. That is every best case scenario is that they end up making it Western Conference Finals and beating one of the LA teams.
That sounded like someone who's never been to or watched a Denver Nuggets game.
Yeah.
Has that person ever been to Denver?
I mean,
that was a lot of vague descriptions of chemistry and that sounds like something you write about a team you don't know
now he made
nothing about.
The only thing that he gave him credit for was that they had the experience of 2 7-game series last postseason. Oh, I totally forgot. They don't have potential one of the best big men in the game in Nikola Jokic. They don't have a star. They don't have an all-star caliber guard in Jamal Murray. They don't have one of the older players in the league, but he's been around long enough that he can teach the kid something. And Paul Millsap. I mean, he knows how to play.
He's a baller.
He's a baller.
He's tough.
He's tough. He made a bunch of them when he was in Atlanta with the Hawks. I mean, look, the only thing, you're going to say their youth is a problem, but as of right now, all it comes down to is depth. So you can forget that shit. to me, absolutely Denver has a great odds. The problem is I think Colin made this point and somebody else made this point when I was listening. It's going to hurt Denver and Portland. It's no home court.
Yeah.
That's just going to be tough. No home court. Everybody's just but then again, nobody has home court right now. So
either.
there's every opportunity. 6, Miami, the Heat. 7, wow. I feel like they dropped this team.
I've got a huge question about the games too.
I was just going to say 7, they dropped this team. They got it, the Boston Celtics. I feel like they've been at least top 5 the whole time we've been reading stuff. What? Did someone catch the virus?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe someone finally realized Kemba Walker's never won a playoff series.
I'll just
in
do
his
the top
life.
10. I'll just do the top 10. 8 is the Houston Rockets. 9 is the Dallas Mavericks. And 10
All right, let's
is
go.
the 76ers.
All right,
I feel like
go
those
to the
are
top
going
to
to
the
be
bottom.
them.
I'm going to give you a little thoughts on each one of them real quick. So let's go back to one.
Okay, 1, Milwaukee.
All right, so we'll go pros and cons on what I think on what they have. They can't afford injuries.
No.
Like it's not like they just have a big matchup problem with Giannis, and then everyone else needs to hit shots. Can that happen for all these series? Maybe, we don't know. So the key on a lot of these teams, you're looking down at Dallas, down at the end, is that I think teams like that may need other teams to be injured or sick or something to get there, and we may have that, so we don't know.
I think
So-
depth is the biggest thing in this.
Right. Is nobody getting corona? So Milwaukee, I'm just not sold on Milwaukee Bucks. I just not. I don't feel it. Lakers, I don't think they have enough. They can prop up LeBron all they want. Anthony Davis is a great player, but I'm not betting on someone with a unibrow, and I'm not betting on someone without any bench. And so with their, I think they have matchup problems. So Portland can shut them down defensively, I think. Also, what Portland can do, they got 2 good guards too.
They outshoot
Who's
'em.
guarding Lillard and McCollum? And then Portland not only, so for everything Houston has that I like as far as firepower, Portland now has the same, if not a better team than Houston, because you can take Lillard and McCollum and get almost the same production as you do from Harden and Westbrook. Not quite, but then again, Harden and Westbrook don't got 7-footers and Nurkic and Hassan Whiteside in the paint, ready to block LeBron's shot and guard Anthony
You
Davis.
mean to tell me Carmelo's not going to at least get you 15? My man's a walking
And
bucket.
I even mentioned him on offense.
I mean, he might be old. Like, yeah, defense, he's not going to do much unless something just snapped while he was on
Right.
break right now. But, I mean, he is still a walking bucket.
Oh yeah, Danny Green specifically mentioned that Portland was probably their hardest out. But in this, like what I'm saying,
Problem is, Portland still got to
Right,
see if they
right.
can make it.
the Portland might not even make it. You're right. And Houston has the offensive capabilities that the Lakers can't deal with. But the thing about it is, Portland's got the defenders that Houston doesn't have. So I feel better about Portland in a series, but I think Houston's got the, put it this way, Hunter.
Charles Barkley has made plenty of outlandish predictions, but a Blazers upset over L.A. is not blasphemous.
Right.
He made that
Okay.
prediction.
So what I was going to say, let's see if you can get this analogy. I would say the Rockets are Mike Tyson. They got the knockout punch, they can take you out. But if they're not smart about it, they can get beat. The Blazers,
You could also look at it this way, like they don't want to go 7.
the Blazers, right? The Blazers to me are the Evander Holyfield. Total package, strong. It's not outstanding anywhere, but very effing good everywhere. So like Evander, you put on his, if you put 1 to 10 on his abilities, you'd say 9 on everything. Tyson's going to have some 10s, but he gets past 5 rounds.
I bet
That's
so.
dropping down to a 7.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my thing with them. Now the Clippers. This was Marcellus Wiley the other day was talking about. He's a Clippers fan.
I know he is.
So what he was saying was that the Lakers have LeBron and Anthony Davis. Well, we have, when he says we, that talk about the Clippers, they have George and Kawhi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say they all neutralize each other. Those two groups both average 50 points a game. Now go from there and match up, Hunter. Who's winning?
It's Clippers. I think the
Is it
Clippers.
even close?
I think it is.
You're
the
running
Clippers.
J.R. Smith out there and Dwight.
J.R. Smith hadn't played all season.
Right.
Deion Waiters hadn't had a team all season. I mean, he was with the Miami Heat for a little while, but he got caught eating edibles, and they'd let him go for a little bit. To me, like just across the board, because this Lakers team, we all know, was put together this offseason.
Yeah.
The only thing really that the Clippers did this offseason was add those 2 superstars. They have the same team that made it hell for certain teams last year in the playoffs. I mean, if you want to go coach versus coach, who are you going to trust more? Are you trusting Doc Rivers, or are you coaching Frank Vogel? Like,
I'll say this: I like Vogel.
I think Vogel did a good job at Indiana.
But you know what
in the
Vogel's
East.
problem is? His assistant is Jason Kidd, and LeBron James is on the team.
I didn't think
So
Jason
nobody-
Kidd was the assistant. I didn't think he got that job.
I thought they hired him to be the replacement. Did he not get it? Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I think they wanted him to be the head
And Vogel
coach,
said
but
he
they gave it
wouldn't
to
do it.
Vogel, and Jason
I
Kidd
thought
basically
Kidd still
backed
got
out.
appointed to like
Because Jason
the
Kidd
assistant.
was originally, he was supposed to be in talks to get the New York Knicks job. Now, he might be. I don't know. He might have
make
just
sure.
been. But Tom Thibodeau just signed that deal, and he's the Knicks coach.
assistant coach for the Lakers.
So he is assistant? Okay.
So what I was going to say is Vogel is undermined by two people right now.
Probably. By LeBron and Kidd.
By LeBron and Kidd. And so I like Vogel. I think he's a good coach. I think he did great in Indiana. But I don't think he's in a good position right now to and he's going to be if they lose, they're not blaming LeBron. LeBron could be out there in a wheelchair and they're blaming the coach. They've done it at every stop. And I don't remember Jordan and them getting beaten in the 95 playoffs by the Magic and saying, well, it's Phil Jackson's fault. They just said, we got beat. We'll come back.
They said, we got
and
beat.
they swept them. Then
They got beat, and what did they say? They said Michael wasn't the same.
Jordan got
They said
in
that.
shape. And
Yeah, they
swept 'em.
they said it. What they said, Michael just wasn't the same coming back.
Yeah.
And then guess what? You lit a fire under his ass. and
Basketball shape. I mean, Hunter, just think about it. Anybody going from basketball and baseball shape back and forth is going to be tough. If you're the greatest, most in shape, best basketball player that ever played, and then you get in baseball shape, that's a bigger drop off than a regular. And no matter how good
he
of an
lost
athlete
weight.
he was. I was watching something. They showed something the other day about him. It was a big hit he got in a game, and they were talking about him possibly being moved up to the majors, and that was that year. Then they went on strike on that. But okay, so there's my Lakers thing. I'm scared about their matchups. Toronto. I don't know what to say other than they got no star power. I love Pascal Siakam; he's a good player, but I just when I write down the teams, I just don't look at that and be like, you know what, they got a squad. Real quick, let's look at the Lakers and Clippers rosters, so we can compare them real quick. The Nuggets, we'll go back to them and say, all right, Clippers is
We
Patrick.
can just do the top
Clippers is
five.
Patrick Beverly, George Leonard, Marcus Morris, and Zubac. Off the bench, Reggie Jackson, Lou Williams, if he's allowed to play. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Lou
They
Williams.
said he's only got like 10 days quarantine.
Lou Williams, escaped the bubble and ended up in an adult
He
establishment.
went to Magic City in Atlanta.
To Atlanta. He flew to Atlanta. There's clubs in Orlando.
I know. They can't go out the bubble, though.
He got out the bubble.
Yeah, he did. The bubble eventually been popped.
Hey, and on Twitter and everything, they're saying the side chicks are going to cause the bubble to pop more than anything.
Yeah, Lou Williams just did that by himself.
So, LeBron, Pope, Danny Green, Anthony Davis, and JaVale McGee, and then Caruso, Markieff Morris. The Morris twins will play each other. Clippers. And
Yeah.
so that's a. Would you give either one the edge, Hunter?
The one on the nope, I couldn't tell them apart to begin with.
Oh goodness sake!
They do look just alike, and it's very scary. If you couldn't like just tell them by like I don't know their tattoos maybe being different, it's just like I have no idea which one who is which, and I'm not sorry about it. Y'all look too much alike.
I can't get to my. There we go. That's what I was trying to click on. All right. So they got Dwight Howard off the bench, but he'll play more than McGee. I don't understand why they even run McGee out there. So that matchup, would you pick Clippers?
Yes.
So
That matchup, I'm picking the Clippers.
So we're going through, and we think the Clippers can beat them. I think the Nuggets can beat them. We think the Portland can beat them. Like, it's not.
And then the Lakers, they're not bulletproof.
No.
This is not another one of those LeBron teams that just walks their way
Well,
to the title.
if this team was in the East as a regular year where they only had 2 stars, like, look in the East. The top team is the Bucks. They got 1 star.
Mm-hmm.
And the second team
does
no
none.
stars.
And this the
So
Raptors.
if they was in the East, this has been LeBron's career, beating up on the teams that aren't that good in the East. So now he goes out West.
and we're sitting here and we're saying
there's 4 teams that can beat
I was
him.
gonna say there's opportunity that he doesn't make it, and there's no guarantee that he gets to the conference championship. So I don't know. It's gonna be tough. This is gonna be tough, but I'm just excited. I'm excited to be have basketball to watch.
Let's do the last couple of teams there, and we'll finish up the show here.
We can just do because we'll just end with this one because I know it's your favorite and you kind of go deep into it. It's the Denver Nuggets.
I just closed out my roster.
You're fine.
He said
Team
Jamal
5.
Murray, Gary Harris, Bowles in there. Click on the team name, Denver, and when you get there,
Denver
click
Nuggets.
the depth chart. I don't even know if Bowl will be even listed on the depth chart at this point.
Why would you not though?
He's not on the team because this is an ESPN type thing. This isn't the NBA official. They haven't started playing. So,
You're right, but
Bow's not even on it, and he's been
the
second leading scorer.
Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, they both can score. Jamal Murray's a better scorer, obviously, than Gary Harris. Paul Millsap's going to go out there.
Harris
and
is
he'll
a
give you
shooter.
a
I don't
solid
know
15.
who Will Barton is.
I don't know who Will Barton is either. Nikola Jokic. We know what Jokic can do.
Yeah.
I think we all just have questions on did losing weight hurt him or help him?
He's a triple double.
We're about to find out. Jeremy Grant, he's a tough worker when he gets out there on the field. If this young man right here is 100% healthy
Michael
and
Porter Jr.
oh my God, he'll be something. He was the #1 recruit out of high school, but when he got to college, he had to have back surgery out of Missouri. So he is dang good. If he can get everything worked out and he's 100% healthy, he'll be something.
Is Montre Morris Marquis little brother?
No, I don't know who that is. But I will say this: you want to talk about a good starting 5? Absolutely.
All right.
Why not?
All right. Look at this.
But let's add Bowl into the equation.
take out Barton.
Take out Barton.
And put Bowl on there. How do the Lakers
at a
match
small forward?
Yeah, that's what they just said.
Well, that's
How-
what he was running because they didn't have the players.
He
yeah.
can dribble. No, Bowles. I mean, he's a young Giannis, and he can already shoot. Just look at that lineup. How would the Lakers or someone match up with that? With Murray,
Well, the problem
Harris,
the
Bowl,
Lakers are running into is
Millsap,
now
and
they've got
Jokic.
2 guards that they picked up off of the street that hadn't played in a year, and they're getting ready to ask them to play against guards that have been played all year.
So who's guarding Jokic? Is that McGee and Dwight Howard?
I'd probably Dwight.
They have to rotate.
Because think about it. Now that Jokic is lighter, he's going to be faster on his feet.
Well, Anthony Davis don't like playing in the paint.
No,
So-
Anthony
so
Davis don't like
Anthony Davis to
posting.
guard Millsap. So then you have Murray, Harris, and Bowl. Who's LeBron guarding?
LeBron have to guard Bowl. He would have to just use his strength on Bowl. Just because.
Would Danny Green be able to guard him? Because he's
No!
that's who the
That's
other,
a- that's a perimeter defense.
That's their other guard. That's their other defender out there.
No, Danny Green
It's
would have
Pope.
to.
It's Pope, Danny Green, and LeBron have to guard Murray, Harris, and Bowl.
See, that's what the problem is because no matter where you want LeBron to guard, you're asking him to take away from the offensive side if he has to play hard on defense.
Is he going to guard Jamal Murray? You know, they were talking
Listen,
about.
LeBron can do a good job if he focused really hard on anybody defensively.
Right, but then will they lose 10 points on offense?
I was about to say, but they'll lose. He won't be able to have the energy at his age. If he was younger, I would say LeBron's guarding whoever he wants. He could be the Giannis or the Kawhi is right now. But LeBron's year 16. Have you seen pictures of him? He got gray in his beard because he letting it grow out.
Real quick, move over to the Portland. Right there it says more NBA teams. We'll finish with them. I want to match them up with LA too. So Portland's got Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, Carmelo Anthony, Zach Collins, and Nurkic. Hassan Whiteside, Carmelo off the bench, Gary Trent Jr., Herzonga.
See, that's what's so crazy, though. This is just talking about, second team. They got Melo on the first team with Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum,
Oh, I didn't see that.
Zach Collins, and Nurkic. But even then, Zach Collins, you could flip-flop Nurkic and Collins if you don't want to play Collins and put Hassan Whiteside out there.
Oh, Whiteside's going to play a lot.
Collins is 6'10", 6'11". Nurkic is a 7-footer. Hassan Whiteside is a true 7-footer. So you want to just talk about length.
Yeah. Whiteside and
That's been the one thing that they've talked about the Lakers have really got going for them is the length inside, obviously, with JaVale, Dwight, and AD. But they're just as long
so-
here with Portland and got the better guard play. They're just X factors LeBron.
right in basketball now they've been there's a heavy deal on the 3-point thing.
But-
so also LeBron and Anthony Davis, their 2 top players, aren't going to out 3-point the other team's top players.
But what the X factor also in this is, I bet you $10 Carmelo D's up LeBron.
He busted. Melo. This would be his final opportunity to be able to get a ring, beat LeBron, and supplant his legacy as
Listen,
an all-time player.
I'm
He's
telling
the
you.
Dominique Wilkins of this generation, in the sense not
He
that
can score, but he
right,
can't win.
He wasn't the dunker. He's not even close to the dunker Dominique is. What I mean is that Dominique's still top, I think, 10 scorer in NBA history by average.
People forget Carmelo Anthony when he went to New York was a hot dog. I mean, he didn't stay in shape. Like he wasn't in the best of shape. My man's a walking 15-point bucket, but
Are you saying he was hot dogging on the court? Or he was in the shape of a hot dog.
He's in the shape of a hot dog. Like
That's what I thought you were saying.
like he's skinny right now. Like he lost a
Yeah.
lot of weight. He's skinny Melo right now. I mean, size-wise, LeBron's probably got him beat, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm telling you, Carmelo, Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Chris Paul, they're all so buddy-buddy. But you know deep down they all want to beat each other when they're on the court. So that's why I'm sitting here saying if Portland is going to play the Lakers, don't be surprised if it's a Melo LeBron one-on-one matchup at some point, if not throughout 3 of the 4 quarters. I could see it.
Carmelo averaged 23.6, Dominique 24.8. Right. I mean that's James Harden's at 25. They're all right there. The winless wonders are
Hey,
all,
listen.
are all in that
Listen.
group.
Melo. This is a great opportunity, man. This is a great opportunity for you. Listen, I've never been like the hugest Carmelo fan, but I'll never say I didn't like him. The dude can score.
Dude, I'm looking at the all-time. Coward did. We'll get on the final point. He did make a point the other day that scoring isn't the most important thing in the NBA leading to winning. Look at the all-time winning scores. Wilt, losing record in the finals. Elgin Baylor, I don't think he won one. LeBron, losing record in the finals. Jerry West, losing record in the
A
finals.
lot of losses in the finals.
Kevin Durant is 2-2 in the finals. Iverson lost in the finals. I don't know what Bob Pettit did. I don't know what George Gervin did or Oscar Robertson. But of the top 7, 6 of them have a losing record in the finals.
And the only one
it's
that is
Michael, and he's
winning is
undefeated.
Michael.
And he never been beat.
Never. 6-0.
People talk that you just don't. Let's go to 11. No championships. 12. No championships. Kobe is 13. He's got 5.
5. He's winning
Dominique
record.
none. Kareem, Bird, and then Adrian Dantley, Maravich, Anthony Davis, and Damian Lillard. So only like 4 guys in the top 20 with multiple champions with a winning record in the finals. Real quick, looking back on as far as centers go, Hunter, we haven't had a center win the championship and be the best player on the team since Shaq. And think about this: he had the best guard in the league on his team.
Kobe.
Then David Robinson, and he had the best power forward in the league on his team. So the last center to really lead their team to a championship was Akeem Olajuwon, and Michael Jordan was retired. It's been all guard. Pick the best wings. I tell you, boys, it's not point guards and centers. It's the wings. And what have the Charlotte Hornets not had
Never.
for
A
20
wing.
years?
A wing.
A
And
wing.
what do we say every year that they should do in the draft? Draft a wing.
We got hell of a point guards and this big man.
They think they found it in P.J. Washington. I'm sitting here saying, bro, it's just Miles Bridges again.
All right, folks, we're going to call it today. We actually went about the number of hours we usually go. We're just at 4:20 today because we got started a little late. But thanks for watching. Wednesday, we'll be here. Rob Roof will be in the house. We'll talk some high school football and maybe what's going to happen here in the fall. It's playing. We can't hear it for some reason. Hit the cue. There you go. That's how I know I can hear it. No, on the simple phone. Yeah! Now it's really loud in our ears. Thanks for watching Shock Joxx live. Check us out on Spotify, on YouTube, Facebook replays, and more. KDCBroadcasting.com.